Welcome to Time Capsule Show, where we explore life in the 21st century through the eyes of people just like you and me. I'm Monica.
And I'm Joenrhuz.
And today we have Ms. Joerenrhuz Joseph. Joerenrhuz Joseph is a journalist and aspiring actress and a wonderful person overall. Jordan, can you tell us more about what inspired you to take on your profession?
Oh, thank you for that wonderful introduction. I'm so happy to be here with you guys. But you know what? It's funny that in my case, I don't think I actually chose my profession. I feel like more so it chose me. I was ever since I was a little girl, I always had like this deep want and desire to want to be an actor. But for some reason, I felt like no matter how badly I wanted it, it was something that I was never really gonna have. I don't know why I felt that way, but I did. And so I ended up pursuing other career paths. And when I tell you I exhausted all other options, like even if I had even the remote interest in anything, I tried to make a career out of it before I decided to pursue acting. And then one day it just got to the point where it was like, you got to keep running around in circles thinking that you're going to find happiness in all these different areas, and you might one day, or you can push past your fear and go after what it is you really really want, and that's where your joy and your happiness lies. So you got to make a choice which one you're going to do. And having that tough love conversation with myself is what really propelled me to want to pursue acting as my career.
Were you always acting even as a young child? Like, were you in your drama productions in school or, making your own film stuff on your own?
I remember my first, like, I think when I first got bit by the bug, I was 6 years old, and I used to go to the summer camp every year. And one of the first summers there, we had done like an excerpt from Ragtime. And so we had costumes and everything. I remember I had my little parasol and my lace gloves and the lights from the stage. And I just remember seeing all the parents out in the crowd, including my dad, and just like, I was like, oh my gosh, I love this. I just want to do this all the time. But that was really my only like experience in theater, because I was a very shy kid. So I didn't try and pursue it past that, but I was very I think I was like always acting around the house. Like you could not tell me I wasn't Pocahontas from the Disney movie. Like I was jumping off furniture. Like when she was jumping off the waterfall, I was jumping off my parents' furniture. So yeah, that was me.
Was Pocahontas your favorite Disney princess? Is she a princess?
I think I think she counted as one, but to be honest, she was my favorite when I was little. But then you know what? You grow up and you get more information, and it's hard to see certain things in the same light that you once did. And it's just like, you know what? That's not how that happened. That's not how that story happened. So I can't really watch it in the same way. But yeah, when I was a kid, she was my favorite.
Oh.
Yeah, you get the truth, and it's like
Yeah, it's like never mind.
Nah, never mind.
So if you were pursuing a different path, that wasn't in entertainment industry, what would you be doing and why?
I'd probably still be doing what I was doing before, which was working in broadcast news. So I used to work as a news producer in news, and I'd probably still be doing that because it's familiar, and also I think because it still allows me to do what I feel like I was created to do, which is tell stories. Like at my core, that's who I am. I'm a storyteller. And so yeah, I think I'd still be working in news.
So what was
Awesome.
your favorite story that you covered when you were on the news channel?
Ooh, that's a good question. You know, when I was really getting heavy into producing, that's when a lot of BLM and Black Lives Matter coverage was really getting the attention that it was due. And so I remember, I'm from New Orleans. I'm born and raised in New Orleans. And around that time is when Alton Sterling in Baton Rouge was shot and killed by police. And I was actually able to cover that story. That was my first major story. And it was one that, I wish that I didn't have to cover. But yeah, I think that that's probably my biggest, the one that definitely comes to mind for like the biggest story that I've ever covered was that one.
So you said that you're a storyteller, and one thing I love telling the actors that we interview or anyone in entertainment is that we're all storytellers, right? Whether you're acting, whether you're
Hmm.
producing or writing a film, what kind of stories do you want to tell, whether it's journalism or whether it's through your acting?
I want to tell stories that I want to tell the stories that I wish that I want to see. Like I want to, I want to look up on screen and see a period piece with a bunch of people that look like me. Like I want to see stories of I want to see period pieces of, you know, members of the Latino community and the Native and Indigenous community. Like I want to see what the world that I live in looks like. I want to see that on screen, you know? And any hand that I can have in helping to bring those stories forward, that's what I want to
That's beautiful.
Did you write
do. Yeah.
stories as a child?
No, I didn't. Well, you know what? No, no, no. I didn't. I wasn't that kid. I wasn't writing stories. I was definitely the one who was like acting in my mirror. Like I used to do this thing and I always thought it was so weird. I would watch a movie and then I would choose like my favorite character out of the movie, which was usually the female lead, and I would memorize all her lines. And then I'd go home or I'd go in my room and I'd be in the mirror and I'd just be acting out the scene in the mirror. Like that's what I did as a kid.
Would you ever perform in front of your parents, kind of like a talent show?
I did a couple times, yeah. Like I remember I used to sing the Disney songs. And then I remember when I was 6 years old, I I'd gotten $60 for Christmas from my grandpa. And it was the most money I'd ever seen in my life. I was like, oh my God, $60. I'm going to Toys R Us. So so I go to Toys R Us and there was like this toy karaoke machine. It was like a portable karaoke machine and you could clip it onto your belt and plug it up into the TV. And it came equipped with like three songs. One of them was like a Britney Spears song, another one was from NSYNC, and then another one was it was Fallen by Alicia Keys. And when I tell you I wore that song out, I would be on top of my parents' bed just going to town. And I loved just sitting there and watching my mom look at me like, look at this girl, what is she doing? But yeah, so I love performing for them.
Oh, they're your biggest fans, I bet.
Yeah, I got a couple.
So we are now on the segment we like to call past, present, future. So how do you
Okay.
see yourself now compared to 5 years ago?
Ooh, girl. Okay, so I definitely feel like I'm a lot more confident than I was 5 years ago. That's for sure. I mean, by no means do I have all the answers because I don't. But I think back to who I was 5 years ago, and I was just very all over the place, very unsure of myself, and I feel like I'm in a much better place now. Um, yeah, I was all over trying to trying to figure myself out, figure out who I was, and figure out what I wanted out of my life.
How did you try to figure out like who you are and what you wanted in your life?
It took a lot of quiet time from me, sitting and really, just evaluating like what do I find, like what do I value most. That's pretty much where I started. I was like, what do I value? What's most important to me? And then taking that a step further and figuring out like, okay, if this is what's important to me, how can I make sure that I have it in my life every day or, surrounding me all the time? And where can I find it? And how, just so that it was really just taking a lot of quiet time and just thinking to myself. I'm a very introspective person, so I spend a lot of time alone just thinking.
Well, that's so important because I feel like we live in a society where people are so dependent on each other, and in a society where people always need someone next to them, and that they forget, to talk to themselves, to kind of reflect on their own life. So that's definitely important that you did that with your own journey.
For sure, for sure. And I always, I have to remind myself because I did fall into that trap of thinking that this person over here knows me better than I know myself, so I should go to them for the answers. Nobody knows you better than you, so take the time and just talk to yourself. Figure out what's best for you.
100%.
So, how do you see yourself in 5 years?
5 years from now, I'm interested to see how much I'm going to grow because I know there's always room for growth, and I'm still figuring things out. Even though I'm better than what I was, I'm still not where I want to be. So I'm excited for the growth, and I'm also just really excited for what waits on the next, like at the end of these next 5 years. Like I'm looking forward to see all the blessings that are gonna be headed my way, and yeah, just all that's in store.
Do you have any goals or plans in specific, or are you kind of just riding with the waves and seeing where it takes you?
I'm riding the waves. I'm open. I am, and it's taken me a minute to get to this point where I can let go and just kind of take whatever comes my way. But yeah, I'm riding the wave. Like, let's do this. All good. I'm accepting all good things.
Well, I think that's a perfect segue to our next question, which is, what principles do you live your life by?
Ooh, first is trust God, trust yourself. That's basically my motto. That's what I say to myself every day. Trust God, trust yourself. Um, be open, be open to whatever. I try to say yes as often as I can, unless it, but no is also a very powerful word too. So knowing when to say which, lead with love in everything you do it with love. And then I also love that quote, I think it was Pablo Picasso that said, the meaning of life is to find your gift, and the purpose of life is to give it away. So just making sure that I'm being a good steward over the gifts that I've been given. And then, just that understanding that everyone has a gift. Your gift is for me, my gift is for you, and just making sure that I'm sharing it in the way that I'm supposed to share
Well said.
That's beautiful. What gift do you think God has given you?
You know what? I think I'm still figuring it out, but I feel like at least a couple of the things that are my capacity. Like I'm a very sensitive person. I'm a very empathetic person, very compassionate. And for the longest, I didn't realize that those were gifts to have. Until I figured out that they don't come as easily to some people. There's some people who need to work at those things. Um, so I do consider those gifts, and I be compassionate to people, empathize, understand, and use my intuition and my love, and just put it out into the world for everyone.
Oh, you're such a loving person. You're so full of optimism and hope.
Oh, thank you. I try.
What advice would you have for someone who's unsure about what gifts they have, or they think they don't have any gifts and they're searching every hour of every day looking for it?
You have a gift. That's the first thing I say. Everyone has a gift, and even if it's not as um apparent to you now, it's definitely going to show. It's going to reveal itself. It's going to be in um it's the thing that you love doing, and nobody has to ask you to do it. You just do it. Or it's the thing that you would do 50 million times a day for free, and nobody like you wouldn't even think twice about it. Like that, your gift could lie there, or your gift could be like it might be something that someone else takes notice of in you. Like maybe you can't see it, but then somebody else mentions it and you're like, oh wait, yeah, I am good at that. Oh yeah, that is part of my personality. So I would say be patient, because it's definitely going to reveal itself to you.
Definitely. So when you said you say yes to a lot of things, what was one thing that you said yes to that led you on a crazy adventure?
Ooh. Oh, that's a good one. I think I mean, I'm gonna bring it back to the acting. When I said yes to my first, I think it was my no. Okay, so I asked. I just left my job working at the news station, and I was kind of in limbo, trying to figure out what exactly I was gonna do. I hadn't yet decided that I was gonna pursue acting, so I was still trying to figure it out. And I had a friend who was an up and coming actor. And right before he hit it big, I remember I heard something say to me. I heard a voice say, "Yo, reach out to him and see, like, just ask him a question. Where did he go to school? Where did he study?" And I was like, "Okay." So I sent him a text. I said, "Hey, who's your acting coach? Or where do you study?" And he sent me back a little text message just letting me know. I was like, "Okay, cool." So I took that and I started studying with the same acting coaches. And then that led me to auditions, and those auditions led me to projects. And so I think saying yes to that voice that said, send that text message, that was the first thing. I was like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna just say yes. Just go. Just do what it is, that voice tells you to do.
And it paid off, clearly.
Yeah, yeah.
Were you scared? Like when you say yes, like are there ever doubts or fears in your head?
Oh, for sure. All the time. Like I know I probably come off as very, sure. I'm not sure. I'm not. But I have a very strong faith and belief system. And so when I do get those feelings of self-doubt and just questioning, those are the moments where I go off by myself and I take quiet time, and I just I just pray on it, and usually, I've also had to learn that every good thing isn't the God thing. So sometimes there are some things that'll come into my life and I see them as a blessing, like they're all great things, but then realize that, oh wait, you know what, no, maybe I should not do this thing and do this thing instead. So it's always a constant like back and forth and juggling, and just I'm always afraid that I'm making the wrong decision, and I don't want to make the wrong decision. But at the end of the day, I feel like everything, no matter what, it's gonna work out for my good. So yeah.
So jumping off of that, what are you grateful for?
Ooh, I'm always grateful for the necessities. I got roof over my head, clothes on my back, food in my belly. I'm always grateful for those things. I'm grateful for my loving family and my friends. I'm grateful for being here with you guys today because this was an amazing surprise. Um, and I'm also just grateful for every day that I get to wake up and do what it is I love to do.
Definitely. And I feel like it's those small things in life that people often overlook because we live in a society again where we think that louder and brighter is always better, but it's the simple things like having food or having clothes on our back that really make life worth living.
Exactly. And I think, especially with the events that have transpired on over this past, year or so, um, taking that time to recognize that we really are grateful. And there's so many people out here who, don't have just those small things.
Exactly. So taking to mind, the current events in this world, what we've been going through as a whole community within the last year, if you were to leave something in a time capsule for people to dig up 100 years later, what would you put in there and why?
Um, I thought really, really hard about this one because I was like, dang, how do I sum myself up with one item? Um, but I think that I would leave a journal. I'm someone who I write everything down. Partly because I'm very forgetful. So if I don't write it down, it's lost to the world. Like it's not coming back. But I make lists. I make goals lists and wish lists. I jot down my thoughts, ideas, my prayers, and I put them all in a journal. And I feel like 100 years from now, if somebody is looking to get to know what it was like from one person's perspective, um, of what today was like, then they could read my journal and figure it out.
So do you journal every single day? Like at the end of each day, you write down, your thoughts and emotions throughout the day?
I don't journal every day, but the only reason I don't is because I felt like, at least for me personally, it became doing that, like putting myself on a schedule, became too stringent.
Mm.
But I do journal at least 5 times a week. Like even if it's not every day, I might do like 2 entries a day, or um one or two. But it's definitely it's something that I make sure I do. Like if I have a thought or an idea or a question, I'll even put that in the journal and then come back and revisit it.
If you don't mind sharing, what's one question that you still have unanswered in your journal?
Ooh, I can actually pull that one up. Hold up, let's see.
Question of the century.
Yeah, it's probably not even that good, to be honest with you. Oh, let's see. Okay, so one question I asked God the other day was, um, how can I be sure that I'm living in my purpose?
That
Like I
just
just,
gave me goosebumps.
oh, but it's true. It's a question that I still have. I don't know how long I'm gonna have that question. But I just want to be sure that I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. So
I'm
that's
so
where
happy
I'm
that you brought that up because I feel like many people think that question, but they don't want to express or they don't tell anyone that they're thinking it. And it's very brave of you to, bring up that question and to bring up your journey and to hopefully inspire someone who's listening to this podcast and interview.
Thank you. Thank you. I always because I am a very private person, but I always feel like if we have an opportunity to be vulnerable and put ourselves out there in the hopes of helping someone else, then we should do that. So thank you for that.
Definitely.
So, is there anything else you'd like to add or to tell our viewers?
Um, just to watch, follow, subscribe to Time Capsule because y'all are doing some great work. Like I've watched y'all's episodes and y'all are bringing it with these questions and these interviews. So yeah.
Thank you. How about you? Where can our followers follow your journey, find out more about you?
Oh yeah, y'all can follow me I'm on Instagram and Twitter at it's Jordan Joseph.
Well, Jordan, thank you so much for being a part of our time capsule. And thank you to our viewers for watching. And please make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Tune in again next week to meet another amazing addition to our time capsule. Thank you so much, Jordan.
Thank you.